Hello and welcome to this energizing and delicious quick yoga flow. Let's start in child's pose. Spread your knees as wide as your mat and sink your hips back over your heels. Bring your forehead to the mat, and you can have your arms outstretched forward or to your side. Just take a few deep breaths here, trying to expand your chest so that it fills the gap between your body and the mat. After a few deep breaths, come on up into tabletop position. Align your knees under your hips and your wrists under your shoulders, and take a deep breath in and lift your chest and your tailbone up to the ceiling, dropping your belly button down to the ground. And then on the exhale, do the opposite. Tuck your chin to your chest and your tailbone under. Lift your back up towards the ceiling. Move through this at your own pace for a few breaths. Start to make big circles with your spine as if you're jumping rope, moving your right side all the way to the right side of your mat, and then dropping your belly to the ground, and then reaching over to the left, and then pushing your back all the way up towards the sky, and moving like this in circles at your own pace. And then switch sides. Come back to center and then walk your hands forward a little bit to the front of your mat and drop your elbows to the ground, and then bring your forehead to the ground and come into puppy pose. Take nice deep breaths here, expanding your chest, filling that gap between your body and the mat. Sink your hips back over your heels and come into child's pose. Take a couple deep breaths here. And then come on up into tabletop pose, tuck your toes, and then push your hips up into downward facing dog. Take a moment here, pedal out your legs. Just find that stretch for you, lifting your hips up towards the sky. Now bend your right leg deeply and straighten your left leg, opening your side body to the left side of your mat. And then switch and bend your left leg and straighten your right leg and open your body to the right side of your mat. And now do this back and forth, pedaling from one side to the other, opening your body to the opposite sides of the mat. Finding stillness, walk your feet as wide as your mat, still in downward facing dog. So that way you have a really wide stance. And then reach your right hand back to your left ankle as close as you can, and pull on your leg to open your body to the left side. Replace your right hand at the front of your mat and then reach over with your left hand and grab your right ankle, and then turn your body open to the right side. And release, bringing both hands to the front of the mat once again in downward facing dog. Now with a deep breath in, lift your right leg up into the sky and then bring your knee to your forehead. Reach it back up into the sky and then bring it down to your right elbow. Once more, push it back into the sky and then bring your knee to your left elbow. And this time, when you bring your right leg back up into the sky, bend your right leg and tuck your heel towards your tailbone. Open your body to the right side of your mat. And take a couple deep breaths here. And release, bringing your right foot back down to the ground into downward facing dog. Take a deep breath here, getting settled in, lifting your hips up towards the ceiling. And now on your next inhale, lift your left leg up into the sky and then bring your knee down towards your nose. Once again, lift it up into the sky and then bring your knee to your left elbow. Back up into the sky and then bring your knee to your right elbow. And this time, when you send your leg back all the way up as far as you can, bend your left leg and tuck your heel towards your tailbone. Flipping your dog, as they say, and open your body to the left side of your mat. And release, bring your left leg down and both feet on the ground into downward facing dog. Drop your knees to the mat as wide as your mat, even wider if you can. Sink your hips back to your heels and come into child's pose, resting your forehead on the mat. When you're ready, come back onto all fours and then push your hips up into downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in and lift your right leg up into the sky and then bring your knee towards your forehead and gently place your right foot on the ground in between your two hands. And then lift your body up and come into crescent pose or high lunge, reaching both of your hands up towards the sky. Now bring your hands down so that your arms are extended parallel to the ground and turn your body to the right for a really deep twist, and take a deep breath here. Now drop your right hand back towards your left leg and reach your left arm all the way up towards the ceiling. And release. Bring both of your hands to the ground on either side of your right foot and then reach your right hand up towards the sky for the nice deep twist, keeping both of your hip joints facing forward. Breathe here. And release both hands to the ground and then step your right foot back to meet your left foot and then reach your right hand up towards the sky and come into side plank, lifting your hips up towards the ceiling. Bringing your right hand back down to the ground and pushing back up into downward facing dog. Take a moment to take a deep breath here. Now we'll do the same on the other side. Lift your left leg up into the sky and then tuck your knee towards your nose and gently drop your foot between your hands and then lift your body up, raising your hands all the way up above you and coming into high lunge crescent pose. Take a few deep breaths. And when you're ready, turn your body to the left side of your mat and lower your hands so that they're in a T shape, opening your body up like you're going to hug someone to the left side of you. Dropping your left hand back to your right thigh and reaching your right hand up above you and behind you. Take a deep breath here. And then release, bringing both hands down to the mat on either side of your foot, your left foot, and then reach your left hand up towards the ceiling and turn your gaze to look at your left fingertips. And release both hands back to the ground and step your left foot back to meet your right, opening your left hand up towards the ceiling. Come into side plank. Lift your hips up towards the sky and breathe slowly. And bring your left hand back down to the mat and come into downward facing dog. Take a deep breath, expanding your chest to the mat, and then exhale, lifting your tail up towards the ceiling. Then drop your knees to the mat and come into child's pose, resting your forehead on the mat. Now push back up into tabletop position on all fours, and if you have a bolster or blanket or some pillows or something that you can put behind you, grab that now. And now we're starting out on our knees in hero's pose with our hips over our feet or sitting upright. Place your padding, whatever it is, behind you, and then using your hands and your elbows, slowly walk your body back until you're resting on the bolster behind you. If this is too deep for you, you could even put a couple blocks under the bolster to lift you up a little bit more, placing one block parallel with your spine right down the center and the other one standing on its tall side on the short end. So that way you have a nice slope when you place your bolster or blanket on those two blocks. And then rest here, taking deep breaths. Let your hands fall to your side, palms facing up, and we'll rest here for a little while. And release. Slowly come up onto your forearms, lifting your body off of your bolster. Remove your props, and then come onto your seat with your legs extended in front of you. Take a deep breath in and then reach forward as far as you can, grabbing onto your ankles or your feet, and pull your body down to stretch your lower back. Breathe slowly and deeply here so that way your body's not tense and stressed. Place your left hand on your right foot and use that to push your body open to the right side. Now taking a deep breath in, reach your right arm up to the ceiling and turn your body to the right side of your mat. And release, bringing both hands back to your feet. Now do the same on the other side. Reach your right hand to your left foot and then open your left hand up towards the sky. And release, bringing your body back upright, your legs in front of you. Now take your left leg and bend the knee and tuck the left heel towards your right hip. And then take your right leg and cross it over your left leg and bring your right heel to your left hip and hug your right knee into your chest and turn your body to the right side, reaching back with your right hand. Take a deep breath here. And we'll do the same on the other side, switching legs. Bend your right leg and bring your right foot to your left hip with your right knee on the ground. And then cross your left leg over it with your left heel in the middle of your right thigh on the ground. And hug your left knee into your chest and then turn your body to the left, using your left hand on the ground to create leverage and pull you further into the twist. Come back facing forward, and now we'll come into butterfly pose with the soles of our feet touching and our knees out wide. And then grab a couple blocks and stack them on their tall ends, and put your forehead on the blocks and let your hands fall to your sides with palms facing up. Take a couple deep breaths here. Removing the blocks from your mat, then walk your hands behind you, put the soles of your feet flat on the ground, and begin to windshield wiper your knees back and forth. grab your blocks again if you would like. You can end this practice in Shavasana, flat on your back, or if you would like, you can come into supported fish pose. And if you would like that, it's a nice back opener and shoulder opener. If you would like that, grab a couple blocks, and we're going to make a T with the blocks on the mat. Put one parallel to your spine, that's going to go between your shoulder blades, and then the other one in a T on top of that, and that will be your headrest. So extend your legs in front of you, and then slowly roll your body back until you're on the two blocks. You can release your hands out to the sides, palms facing up, and just breathe easily here. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. Maybe bring some movement to your toes and your fingers, moving them in circles. And if you were in the supported fish pose, go ahead and remove the blocks. And slowly bring yourself up to a seated position. Hands comfortably resting on your knees. You can close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. Take a deep breath in, lifting your chest up towards the sky, and then on the exhale, bring your shoulder blades together and down your spine. And one more deep breath like that, lifting your hands overhead, and then reach your hands over to your right side, feeling a nice deep stretch on your left hip. Back to center, and now reach your hands over to the left side. And come back to center and resting your hands on your knees. We'll take another deep breath. Thank you so much for joining me for this quick morning sequence. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe.